Welcome to another edition of the McAnulty Method, where financial expert Frank McAnulty joins us to share his insights and knowledge so that we might live a little bit better financial lives. Frank, thank you for joining us one more time.
Bill, always good to be here.
I know Colin is not with us today. He's on a special assignment, I understand, which I will want to hear much more about later. But in his stead, we have Harrison Owen, who I understand is going to tell us all about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I'm also a software engineer for Certicate, which is one of the top security blockchain networks. So we just audit and then we get to tell people how bad their smart contracts are. So it's always fun.
Oh, that's impressive. So you're not somebody who just reads about this stuff. You're doing it.
Yeah, but also there's also like a lot of backlash where if there's like a new smart contract feature that comes out and our company might not know about it yet, and then we sign off on it, and then they get hacked for $100 million, and they come back to us saying, well, you guys said it was audited fine. But it is what it is.
So Harrison, here's my question. I know there's a technology behind cryptocurrencies, and it's sort of like the gold rush. Back in the day, Levi Strauss made all the money making pants for the gold miners. Is that what's going to happen here? The cryptocurrency is the big exciting thing. Everybody's mining crypto and this, that, and the other thing. But explain the difference between actually the coin and the use of technology, if you can.
Okay, yeah. So I guess to put it simply, there's two main types of ways that so there's like consensus, which means like the transaction is validated. So it'd just be like if you were like at a vending machine or something and you put in $1 and then it validates that was actually $1, and then it gives you $1 to buy like a can of Coke or something. So the way that transactions are validated is either through equipment like graphics cards that people have on their laptops, desktops, stuff like that. So then that's called proof of work. So it just does a big math algorithm and it just computes, that transaction's valid. And there's a lot of negative feedback with proof of work just because the immense power it takes. So there's a newer way that people are validating transactions called proof of stake, which should, I think, uses like 99 point something less percent electricity. And instead of using hardware, it still uses hardware, just not nearly as much. And people are basically staking their money and locking it up to validate the network.
Okay, but so here's my problem with cryptocurrency. If the three of us knew how to do this computer stuff, technical term, computer stuff, we could basically create our own cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, I think there's actually a website where you can just click on it and it'll just auto-generate a cryptocurrency for you. So you only have to type in like the McNulty coin and then hit enter, and then voila, you have a McNulty coin and stuff like that.
Well, see, that's what I think really has a lot of people concerned is that, okay, well, Bitcoin was the first and the biggest, so it got the most press, and it's now worth $60,000 a coin. But what gives it value other than just the fact, I guess, people want it?
Well, I think with Bitcoin, I could be wrong, but I see it personally, in my opinion, as more of like it's called like a store of value. So it doesn't use graphics cards anymore. I don't know how to it uses these specialized supercomputers to validate these transactions. And it's kind of, to me, it's almost like buying gold, but like a digital gold, because it doesn't have too much usage. But another network that's number 2 is called Ethereum. And that has an immense amount of usage. Like you could build anything you could imagine on top of it. Like, I don't know, voting, you could do voting on it, weather, a casino. You could pretty much build anything you want on top of it. You could make I forgot the word for it. Whatever. So I can't think of it. In like real estate, you have the people that hold the money. I forgot what they're called. I don't know why. In the transaction or
Um,
something.
the escrow.
Oh yeah. You could put like an escrow thing into Ethereum. You can basically anything that holds money, you could just put that on top of it because it has the smart contract that Bitcoin doesn't have.
Well, see, that's what I understand. That there's this technology that really has some great uses. But usually in the past, it's been okay. Well, we bought you know DOS or whatever, or the operating system for your computer. It made sense, but there was no DOS coin. There was no. So I just don't understand because I've heard that same thing about Ethereum. It's the thing. It's the good one. It's got millions of uses, but then at the same time, there's this coin, and I just don't understand how they're related or how they work.
Yeah, so I would consider Ethereum almost like a base language kind of thing. So it'd be like the gasoline for like a car, and then you build stuff on top of it. Like, for example, the stuff where it's like, oh, you could create the McNulty coin in like 10 minutes. The only problem with it is that it's built on top of the Ethereum network. So you're using Ethereum as like the base understructure for it. So, and then also, I forgot what I was going to say, but I think the more real world case usage is like if people want to send money to like third world countries or outside the US, sometimes there's like a long delay to get the money there. And there's sometimes like a 5 or 10% like fee usage, but with blockchain, you could just send it within minutes or seconds, and then it gets there with minimal fees and stuff like that.
Bill,
I'm just well, yeah, I'm still kind of I like what you said here about I think you related Bitcoin to being like gold. It's sort of a an asset or yeah, it's something that's valued, something that is like a basis for the valuation. But I'm just, part of my problem is I have a tough time grasping, like gold, it does have some intrinsic value and you can use it. I mean, it's used all the time in manufacturing and other stuff like jewelry or whatever. So I guess I'm still just trying to wrap my arms around this or my head around, is there some sort of underlying value? Or is that just is it just pretty much like the people are saying this has value because we say it does?
I would say a lot of the value in blockchain is completely speculative, which there is a lot of like scams where people will create like a random coin, attach like some social media presence to it, and then try to pump and dump it, which is pretty common, sadly. But yeah, I think a lot of Bitcoin's value is just on pure speculation and treating it similar to gold in the sense that it's supposedly, to me, and like in my opinion, like the digital gold. But yeah, it is mostly speculation.
Huh. All right.
it it will be interesting to see how it all comes out in the end. I mean, because everybody's talking about their own digital currencies these days. Even governments are talking.
Yeah, I think the Chinese government is releasing the digital yuan, or I think I pronounced it correctly, but I think they're on track to release that pretty soon. And I think the US government was in, I don't think they said they were going to do it, but I think the Federal Reserve said they weren't against the idea of it or something like that.
So, what would be one basic fact that everybody needs to understand about what's happening, what's coming down the pike, what's
Um, putting in one thing is kind of hard. I guess trying to think of how to sum it up. I just think that it has a lot of real world case usage. Like for if I could get like one message across, would be towards more people that are in third world countries or sending money to third world countries. Just how I said about like how there's such like massive fees and stuff, and then you can also use blockchain technology to like have stuff on like a ledger. So like a lot of people in poor countries don't have like a deed to their property and stuff, and then someone can just come push them off it. But maybe if they had some, even if it was like a $2, $3 like mobile computer or something, as long as they could, like show like, oh, on the blockchain that they actually own it and stuff like that, I think that's more real world case usage. Or stuff like escrow, and or even for like medical stuff, like you could have all like your family like tree and stuff connected for like medical problems, and then, but it's hard to put it into perspective because it's still really early, so no one really knows if it's ever going to be, or it's going to take off, or if it's just kind of like the dot-com bubble where it just implodes and then on to the next thing.
Well, I've often thought of it whenever I go to a doctor's office, and the first thing they give you is a clipboard with like 6 pages of forms you need to fill out. It'd be like, this would be so easy if I had, the little fob or something, or I could, take my phone and just put it up there and push a button, and they get all my medical information. And when I leave, they could do the same thing back to me. It would seem that would be a great use of it.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing also that is good and bad about blockchain is like for the smart contracts, I would consider it to be like a vending machine. Like you put in money, and then when X date hits or X price hits, it spits out the information. And then I would say like the best thing about it is that it's like immutable, which means you can't change it. So like it can't be hacked. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. But then the downside is if the person who programmed it didn't do their job, then you can't change it. So if there's, let's say, $100 million locked up in it, or like in like an exchange that's decentralized and someone figures out how to hack it, there's no way to change the code on it. So then it can just get drained to zero because some guy figured out how to hack it.
Yikes.
Yeah, and wow, that's happened quite a lot.
Well, that sounds that actually sounds pretty exciting in a bad way, but a lot of movies have been based on less. I think, Harrison, I think we're going to have you back. I've got more questions, but frankly, I am so ignorant that they're just not coming out. So I think, Frank, what do you think? Should we have Harrison come back for another edition on this? And
I think that'd be great. I think that'd be great.
All right. Well, let's end this. I think I have at least a more rudimentary idea of Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrency are. So Harrison, we'll be talking to you next time to find out more and what all this might mean for us down the road.